Greetings, and welcome to this episode on Geeks First. You know, I actually wrote a script for what I was going to go over tonight, but frankly, I tore it up, and we're just going to go off script. Because thoughts. So all that, right now. Again, thank you for tuning in. This is going to be my unfiltered thoughts on some updates from Legend Story Studios. Now, for many of those that have been watching any content, there are two types of content I like to create. One is a researched, highly edited, scripted version where I can articulate things in a pretty good fashion, and then there's the fun box opening type stuff. So, because, well, I have a lot of things rattling around in my head, I'm going to go ahead and combine both of those for this video, while also still providing some of my thoughts on, I guess, this latest article that, as I stare at the computer next to me here, is titled The Living Legend Update from November 7th, 2023. Now, I have listened to quite a bit of different takes on this. I've seen Twitter posts, both good and bad. I've heard rebuttals on both sides of the fence stating that this is not only a basically nail in the coffin of LSS and a way to drive the game out of existence, but I've also heard people praise it for being one of the coolest ideas ever. And honestly, I fall somewhere in the middle, and the reason I fall somewhere in the middle is because obviously this is year 4, and the sets, if you watch my older video, I'll try to link it right here, that I released using some data and analytics on the Living Legend heroes and how they have kind of obtained their Living Legend points and where they sat, because we all saw that Starvo went from 0 to 4,000 or over 9,000 in 4 months or so. While other heroes from WTR, as an example, based on my spreadsheet, were sitting there and really not making as much traction as others. But then you had that article that stated that about 15 to 20 months was the expected lifespan of what they're looking to do. Now, obviously, that was in Flesh and Blood 1.0, right? So now you're in Flesh and Blood 2.0, and really that's where you have the single print run stuff. So that kind of layers on top of this cake, and people aren't taking, in my opinion, into account that the system has not only shifted from the original intent to where it is now, but the updates for the points. You know, I'm not a super hyper competitive player, so I don't really care, but like going from 200 to 300 points for a Living Legend, you know, or I should say points when you win a world championship, I don't see that being a huge problem. Honestly, I think it's neat that battle hardens are worth more now, as well as national and professional tournaments, but even skirmishes being worth 4 versus the 2, I guess, that they were. What's intriguing to me about why that's important is because if they truly are coming out with a whopping 15 plus new heroes, we've already looked at some differences in how we anticipate character creation in sets. Now, Bright Lights broke that mold, and Bright Lights released a single set where you had one hero or one class with multiple heroes within that class. So there's not been a set that has come out where there has been a limited amount of heroes. Some of them, like Outsiders, reused original heroes, such as, you know, I believe Azalea was in there, right? And you had Katsu, and Benji. Those heroes were not recreated from the ground up. They were leveraged again in a different light using new cards. So that means that going forward, this says verbatim,
a whopping 15 new heroes will join the game.
And for those that have just had their ears blown out, a whopping 15 plus new heroes will join the game in 2024. Now, also, behind me, we have some stuff, but I'm going to point specifically to the Round the Table product, which I'm not going to go ahead and pull out because there's no point doing that. Round the Table product was 4 decks. Now, 4 new heroes, technically 3, and the reason I say 4 is because Iroh was in there, but Iroh really was a release of the original welcome, deck that you would get when you were trying to learn how to play Flesh and Blood. So, really, there was 3 new young heroes. Now, this does not specify whether or not you're going to have adult and or young heroes. So, 15 could, in the absolute worst case scenario, be 8 total heroes with 4 young or 8 young and 8 adult. Now that is me really stretching that tape thin, because we're anticipating 4 major draftable sets, or 3 draftable sets and 1 supplementary sets based on the kind of trajectory that they're talking about. And we're anticipating, at least in my thought, a UPF a year or something, and that does not count whether or not PvE magically hits the scene, because we haven't even broached that topic. Now, if you look at the hero breakdown per sets, WTR had 4, Arc had 4, I think, so the third set was Crew. Crew had a myriad of small young heroes throughout the thing. That was obviously a supplemental set. Then you had Monarch, which was the 4 heroes. Then you had Tales of Aria, which was 3. And then you had Everfest, which kind of came into some Uprising. Obviously, you had your 3. Then you had Dynasty, had a myriad of things. Outsiders, again, releasing some heroes, some new. And Dynasty also, you had the Assassin class. And you had Dust Till Dawn re-release, or this one, which we're going to open up here in a bit, and that had some of the, re-released prisms, because one of the things that he does talk about in here, which I can respect, is, and I'm going to read this verbatim here, so forgive me. A hero ascending to Living Legend is one of the most significant occasions that occurs in Flesh and Blood organized play. It's both an occasion to celebrate past achievements and anticipate new possibilities of a fresh metagame. Old cards glimmer with the possibility of perhaps their time has come. Okay, pause right there, because everything that sentence means is the reason I spend hours every week organizing, sorting, and collating commons, rares, tokens, majestics, basically sorting and making player sets, because sooner or later, I'm just going to ran over and randomly, I'm reaching for a card. All right, this is a stack of, this is Monarch. One of these days, some of these cards that are in this stack, Zealous Biting, Minnowism, we already know what happened there, Warmonger's Recital, Talisman of Dowsing. These cards will come to their spotlight. They will have their time to shine, because sooner or later, Spell Void 1 with Go Again on an item, I don't know, that might even be cool in Dash.io, right? Like, there could be a reason that this would be ran. Spell Void, your hero would be dealt arcane damage. We haven't had a full arcane set. I'm sure that's coming, right? Right after this Savage Lands heavy hitter thing. But what I mean to say there is that I believe there is a good intention, and this is what I want to spell out here. There's a good intention from LSS on what they're trying to accomplish here. And I heard somebody compare this to League of Legends. I don't play that game, but I really resonated with their I guess, topic. And I think it was Mara Ferris that said it on Instant Speed. But they basically said, if there's hundreds of characters, which we are getting to the point where we don't have hundreds of characters, but if I go to the Living Legend status right now, I believe in my other video, like I said, it says we have 18, 19, 20, we have 21 adult heroes, and we have 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 6, 39 young heroes. Now, with these points per year and how many seasons we're getting and whatnot, the ramping of the point values seems proportional to the amount of events worldwide and the frequency of events that I can kind of start calculating. Again, I don't have those math numbers in front of me, but I think that the reason that this is important to note is because those are going to allow the chaff to be separated from the wheat. Maybe might the right term be. And you're going to find, Lexi obviously this season got 350 points, got her to Living Legend. Icelander's got an 88. She's at 932 right now. She's one of the only talented heroes that's on this list that hasn't hit Living Legend yet. So you have Icelander that's left as talented. Dromai is in third place toward the top, right? She has 568, and she's earned 328 points. Next up, you got Phi, gained 32, now is at 400. And, Bolden got 4 points. Cool, right? Great. Thank you, Bolden. Thank you, the person that played Bolden. You got 222. So there's this. Now let's go to the negative side. Let's talk about the alternative. Now I'm gonna talk about walking into an event. So let's say I'm going to my armory and I'm carrying this box. You can't see what's in this box, right? We don't know what's in the box, but I'm gonna take this regardless, right? I have this much space to hold a deck. Now I just randomly grabbed what I'm referring to here is just a kind of a go box. It wasn't anything special. I have a bunch of cracked baubles over here in case I run into content creators, because I like to have them signed. So this would be something I'd have. I have 4 how to play blitz decks right here that I created. Now these are not like they're not even legal for anything because they're technically not blitz. They're just like, I guess before the precons came out for the 4 OG heroes, this was my WTR Blitz combos. These are 3, and I can give these out to somebody, right? Like, these are 3 sealed. This is a Rhinar, you know, Dory versus Rhinar side. These are 3 decks that if somebody really is like, hey, I really want to play, but I can't really get into it, I can be like, here you go, buddy. Here you go. I'm going to toss you one of these and get one of that. So this is my go box. Now, in this go box, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 decks right here. This one is a, let's see here. Who is this? This one on the end. Well, this is an Azalea. Oh, it's also a Lexi. Oh, well, that's because they're Ranger, right? I can play 2 at once. All right, well, that's neat. What about this deck? It's a middle one here. Oh, that's a Kano. Look, yeah, that's a Kano deck. Okay, so I got a Kano deck. Oh, that's neat. What about this one? What's that? It says Iron Rot Legs. I don't know. Oh, yeah. See, you know what this is? This is the original WTR pre-constructed CC deck that is still sleeved because that's, you know, neat. So I have that. And then what's this one over here? I wonder. This one is another Ranger. Oh, look, this is it's an Azalea. So I had a couple different builds that I was working on, right? Now, obviously, it looks like Lexi just, you know, LL'd. So Lexi over here, this version of Lexi or this build, not valid. But I still have 2 other decks. Now, I get that this is not for everybody, and I get that this is not the end-all be-all solution, and I can comprehend why people are mad, but I don't know anybody that's serious in this game at all that only brings 1 deck or has... I'm a Dash main. I've said this multiple times. Dash is the hero that I am very much, like, I care very little about DTD, personally. But I respect it for what it is. I have not grown accustomed to those Shadow and Light heroes. I'm not a Prism main. I did not really care much for Chain when he first came out. But these heroes here, they have their place. Now, as I look at the future... I do see the problem with a weekly ban and suspend announcement. I actually think it's a great thing. I think it's fantastic. I think it's going to cycle through. It's going to be able to not have Bravo have 1,500 points because people have talked about at the stage where you have 1,500 plus 158 plus 102 plus 207 plus... That's like 2,000 points that they probably thought, hey, this was supposed to go to a hero, but it didn't, right? So heroes didn't LL in the time that they were. Now, when you calculate that you have 20 heroes and you're going to add another 15, guess what? If that's all 15 adult and you mirror that out saying 15 adult and 15 young, you're talking a total of 30 people to choose from. And like if you're playing Smash Brothers or Mario Kart and you got 30 characters to choose from, oh my God, like that's a lot of choices. That's analysis paralysis. Like, what are you going to do, right? I mean, we only had 1 mech adult hero prior to Bright Lights. It was Dash or nothing. You did nothing. Now you have Dash, you have Dash IO, you have Max, you have Teklovasen. I mean, you have choices, right? And even if one of the dashes goes boop, now I got 3 left. So I like what they're doing. I like it a lot. I am a fanboy. I get it. Now, what I can say, and this is the piece that I have a solution for the community, and I hope that somebody can snippet this and pass it around. If you are in the community and you know somebody that comes in with their Lexi deck because that was what they wanted to play, they were that Lexi person, and all of a sudden, hey, ring, ring, sorry, buddy, you can't play tonight because that is Living Legend. You got 2 options here. If you're a casual event, just let them play. I don't think it's gonna... I mean, obviously you can't do it at like an actual event, but if it's an armory, I'm not gonna care. Sure, play what you want. Like, I'll play against you. Casual game, let's have fun. UPF, you want to play it? I'm not gonna say no. But maybe people in the community, like myself or others that have the ability to make multiple decks, carry a spare or 2 decks that are from heroes that are maybe not Living Legend, but easy to play. A ninja, a guardian, a warrior, something that might be not what they're really in the mood to play necessarily, but guess what? They're not going to be sitting there twiddling their thumbs saying, damn, I really wish I could have done this or that or whatever. Now, that's not the final solution, but at least they'll still have fun. Now, on top of that, the other piece I've heard people complain about on the Twitter sphere, because that's just what everybody does there, right, is they said, oh, well, I'm not going to carry 2 decks. Well, if you're going to go through security and you're going to go on a flight and you need to do all this and that, I don't see why it's a problem to have, instead of 100 cards, having 200 cards. There is no big difference. I mean, I can fit it in, I can take my shoe off and put it in my shoe. I'll make a deck box out of my shoe if I have to. It's ridiculous. People are making excuses. So anyways, that's me being a butthead here, because this is my unfiltered, this is just, I had to. So to wrap everything up, I'm going to be doing a weekly Who Hit Living Legend update for those, so that you can keep tabs on it, because that's going to be something fun. With the banned and suspended announcement on November 7th, obviously Lexi and Voltaire, the weapon that goes with that hero, has been, living legend, or just, now is not legal in class constructed. And that's where Bullseye Bracers came back in. And then in Blitz, the only thing that really changed is they took away Soul Reaper from Chain. I'm not sure the reason why, but apparently they did spell out some stuff saying that it lines up with some really powerful, OTK or one turn knockout. So yeah, it is what it is. Outside of that, I'm looking forward to the Worlds coverage. I mean, let's focus on the Worlds, guys. Let's turn the attention to Worlds. You have a really cool thing happening. I mean, Worlds is happening. You can meet the professor. I can't go there, but somebody, please, for the love of God, live stream the professor challenge thing. Go there, and I want to be able to type in and be like, oh my God, I think I know what the clue is. Let's do it. I want to help. But I can't go there. But getting a cold foil professor, if you know who you're getting one, let me know, because I definitely want to get one for my UPF deck, which I have my heroes. My heroes right here. These are my heroes for my UPF deck. So if I can get a cold foil professor, that'd be cool. I think it's actually pretty slick that they're doing it this way, because obviously the meeting the professor in general, it'd be nice to just thank him, because he is a force for good, right? And I like it. Limited to 300 per day, so that means that there is a 900, one of 900 of these cold foil professors. They're going to be stupid expensive. Stupid expensive. Yeah, that's about it, guys. There's some beautiful artwork. I do want the sigils from the world too. I want some of the little metal tokens and swag. I'd love if there's maps. I mean, honestly, any of the swag, if I can get a hold of some of that stuff, I collect that. That's something that I like to see. So if you're there, hit me up, let me know. I'd love to chat with you. Everybody's participating, good luck. I hope the meta is in your favor, and if not, pick a different deck. Enjoy. Go with, like I said, I was in Baltimore playing UPF with a Nitro deck before Max Nitro existed, using Dash. So if I can play with that, I'm sure you can play with whatever you want. Alright, well, that is going to end my rant portion of this video. And now we're going to get into something more fun and lighthearted. We're going to open up a box of DTD, because I haven't done much DTD. And we're going to open it on this Federico Massetti signed mat that I got in Baltimore. Actually, was it in Baltimore? No. I actually don't remember where I got this. I just cut my finger. Ow! That is a bad... Do not do that. That's a bad way to open a box. Anyways, I got a signed playmat. This one might have been the one he would... Gosh dang it. I don't know where it came from. See, I have way too many playmats at this point. So, let's talk about some fun stuff. So, let's start looking at the heroes. So, if we're getting 15 new heroes, the first thing to consider with 15 new heroes is that there's going to be a lot of variety that you can maybe expect. So if we start looking at heavy hitters, we know that there are going to be a total of, I think, 3 classes in there based on what the articles were spelling out. So with those 3 classes, I think it's Warrior, it's Brute, and it's Guardian. And then there's kind of an overlap between those based on what we saw. And because of the overlap that exists there, one of the things that I'm definitely going to call based on, just kind of my thought process is I hope that this will be the first set that we'll see some dual class equipment. I'm working on my spreadsheet. I haven't finished it. That's why this video is happening now. And that spreadsheet is basically walking through... Ooh, Dimensional Vortex. Cool. That spreadsheet is walking through the categorization of current equipment in the classes, and then outside of those current equipment, where applicable, it's going to spell out more along the lines of what possible combinations might exist. Now, I've done this update for every set. I think I didn't get to do it recently. I think the latest version of that was my Outsiders one. I need to update it for Bright Lights, but this time I'm going to try to get ahead of it and do my predictions before the video comes out, or before the set Heavy Hitters comes out and they start doing reveals. I think it'd be really sweet to see some stuff. I think that there's a couple of classes, especially like if you look at the correlation between, let's say, the Brute and Guardian and Warrior, and those classes all have a missing, like a glove or a hand or a feet. You know, maybe it gets to the point where we have a duplicate one that goes there, or like maybe they put the Civic boots. I don't know. That actually may not happen. The boots that came out, the Guardian boots that came out in the TCC set that everyone's saying that you only get it through there, they actually may not be in this newer set. And I don't think it will, for the sole fact that I'm going to assume that it was either, I mean, it's probably been in the works and or printed for a while. So even if somebody were to say, well, we missed that or whatever, it probably won't be. Or I'm assuming there's an expansion slot, so maybe I'll get some cool mech toys that, you know, even though Bright Lights just came out. But I would imagine that they're going to do something different, you know. It's all speculation. That's the fun, right? You gotta have fun and speculate. What else? If you're going overseas, I've never left the U.S. technically. I went to Windsor, the quote-unquote armpit o' Canada. Hey, I got a Vin set. You know, I did not have one of these, so that's cool. That's what happens when you don't open a lot of a set. You don't really have much to stand on. So now I can, hey, guess what? You know what? I'm going to build a Vincent deck. Now that I hit that, I'm going to build an adult Shadow Runeblade, because why the heck not just have it? Bolton. You know, I hope that traveling for people is easy, because I don't know how hard it is to get in and out of, like, other countries. I'm sure more seasoned experts can do that, but me, I already have a hard enough time with TSA getting in and out with, like, my camera equipment, so I'd have to really, like, understand. But I mean, I didn't get my passport situation figured out, as well as the finance side of it, so I'm just gonna have to plan and look at doing something next year. I really would like to go to I'd love to go to New Zealand and see this really cool event come January, but I don't think I will. Ooh, we got Grasp of Darkness. Oh man, cold foil, but it's a common one. Now, that is one thing in Flesh and Blood 2.0 I'm still not quite comprehending, is it seems like there is a limited amount of chase cold foil, and maybe that's on purpose, right? But the common cold foils, maybe I'd run Grasp of Darkness in the deck. I guess there's only so many of the cold foil commons that I'd be chasing after. Maybe that's a Stackswell question. Go ask him. But yeah, if you haven't seen, like, Riddler Man's doing daily content in the morning. I mean, DM Armada's pumping stuff out. Red Zone Rogue's dropping things. Stackswell's doing his updates. You know, obviously the podcasts are still rolling. One of my other things I'm working on is, you know, kind of RIP to the M&R podcast. That's an extended art common, by the way. So I'm sad that they're ending that, but I am working on a video to talk about the existing podcasts that are still out there that you can check out. That's on my docket list to document those and have some information, you know, spun up so that we can share that and get you in contact with that. I need to work on getting some lore videos together so that I can do the next one for Fablorian, which is our kind of side project for lore. That's a lot of work to get those, you know, written, researched, and shot. So hopefully we'll get those together. Bequest the Vast Beyond. It's a Visceri. Visceri. Excuse me, I sneezed. Just kidding. I didn't sneeze. I said Visceri. Yeah, man, I'm having a blast. Technically, this is Sorcery release night in another hour and a half. I actually just got done opening a beta booster box of that. Definitely a different look and feel. Like the cards and the card art and the card direction style, totally different than Flesh and Blood. Like they are not on the same page. I'm so used to looking at Flesh and Blood. I like the art style of Flesh and Blood. Now, within each set, obviously, there's different art directions, right? But that was one of the things I noticed is there was some cool art direction conversations I saw some people talking about. And yeah, every game has its unique factors, right? So that's... I wonder if I'm even going to get I don't think I'm going to get a legendary. Man. Be nice. Ooh, dig up dinner. This might be cool. Choose 3 random cards in your graveyard. Shuffle all attack action cards with 6 or more. Gain that much life. Banish this. I mean, with some more Barut stuff coming, that'd be exciting. That's exciting stuff. It's not that I'm running out of things to say. I'm just chilling at this point. I said my piece, and I felt like I couldn't script it, so I'm mellowing out because everybody gets very emotional about it. But like I said, I think LSS is in a great spot. I think you're doing pretty darn good. Obviously, there's always room for improvement. I mean, look at the UPF product. It'd have been funny if they would have put 4 mats in there, but at the same time, that was one of the jokes, right? As if there's only 1 mat, do you share it? But I get it. You know, it's not feasible, really, I think, to have 4 mats in one product like that. But, I mean, they're hitting stuff out of the park. They're doing much better than Magic. I think better than Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon, you know, I'm not saying it's bad. I like Pokemon. All right, what do we got? We're at the final 3 cards. Boom! And... What do we get? We got 1 cold foil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There we go. Nailed it. We're gonna auto out blue. Nice. Well, like, share, subscribe, hit that bell, do the things you know how to do. And until next time, may your games be fun and your friendships grow. If I see you at an event, let's try to play some UPF. And speaking of which, I will be at the Coaxing out in Denver, Colorado. So I'll see you there. Cheers. Your captain. Greetings and welcome to this episode on Geeks First. Today, I was going to go on script about the new Living Legend point system, but frankly, I'm going to go off script. All that and more right now.